Hello, everyone. Welcome to the QUACK podcast. I'm Dr. Quack.
I feel like you do. I'm the important one, Mr. Mayhem, and damn, I don't want to do this.
We're getting ready to review WrestleMania 32.
I'd rather review WrestleMania 31 again. And we didn't even do that one.
We did not even do that one.
Yeah, this pile of steaming mastodon dung came to us from Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
With 101,000 disputed people watching it in AT&T Stadium where the Dallas Cowboys play. Yay! I am so up and motivated.
It is April 3rd, 2016. Yeah, that's when this took place. Let's go down to it here. Let's go down to it.
Might as well get started.
Yeah, on commentary, we had Michael Cole, Byron Saxton, John Bradshaw Layfield, Jerry Lawler, and even on the pre-show, Marulo. You go ahead and pronounce
Mauro Ranallo. Yeah, Mauro Ranallo and Jerry Lawler did the 4 pre-show matches that we didn't care to watch.
Thank God.
Because one of all, the cock doesn't show them, and 2, we didn't care anyway. They all blew dogs.
They did. Spanish commentary, Carlos Cabrero, Marcelo Rodriguez.
Yes, they're great.
Don't forget German commentators, Sebastian Hackle and Karsten Schaefer.
They're great, too. I will say this before we get started. This is the last time it is just WWE product. They are shortly after this going to split back to having Raw and SmackDown and having 2 world titles. We're not there yet, so that's why we only get just one commentary team.
Yes. Spanish commentators, like I said, you
already got those. So ring announcers.
Yeah, ring announcers. We got JoJo. She was good. She was. And Maria Menounos.
They were the backstage interviewers. Yeah, JoJo was decent. I think she only appeared on the pre-show.
Yeah.
But our ring announcers were Eden Styles and Lillian Garcia, and Howard Finkel did the Hall of Fame. Now, if you're wondering who that short blip on the WWF radar was, it was Eden Styles. She's now known as Brandy Rhodes or Brandy Runnels, is married to Cody Rhodes. This is where they met.
This is where they met. Yeah, pre-show panel, of course, you had Renee Young, Booker T, Corey Graves, Tom Phillips, and Lita on there.
Yeah, and Renee Young is now over in AEW because her husband, Dean Ambrose, decided to leave. So she decided to leave. It's too bad. She was actually really good at this, but it is what it is.
This was leading a lot towards when AEW first started. So this WrestleMania here, you're going to see some names that you're going to recognize from that company involved.
Yeah, and the best way to describe this is not WrestleMania 32. This is Family Feud. All the family wars going on here. Or for those of you who are real nerds like I am and know who stars on long play are, because every one of these matches was way too long.
Yes, and let's get into it. The opening match here, we had the ladder match here, Money in the Bank. No, this is for the Intercontinental title. Let me get that right. Dolph Ziggler, The Miz, Sami Zayn, Sin Cara, Stardust, and Zack Ryder. And this actually gets my Quack Attack. This is the high point for me on this show. And mainly because they finally got to recognize some lower level talent that got to get pushed up. I thought it was a great ladder match. I thought that Zack Ryder deserved this. And yes, he only held it for 1 day. But he had his WrestleMania moment. I gave it 3.5 stars.
Yeah, you forgot Kevin Owens, who was the champion in your
Kevin
litany
Owens
of names. But yeah, Zack Ryder had been around the WWF, WWE for a long time. Him and a guy named Kurt Hawkins used to be Team Angle.
Yes.
That's how long he's been around, folks. And yes, it was nice. He finally got his WrestleMania match. He got to do it with his dad there. I couldn't go as high. The match was good. I only went 2 3/4. Sami Zayn came out to the huge pop with the short beard and then really ugly tights that he used to wear with the black and white checkerboard on the black pant, or the red and white checkerboard on the black. This match really had 2 themes: super kicks and pushing ladders over. Well, and a third thing, putting ladders in dumb places and climbing up them for no reason. Can we stop doing that? The match started like normal, like we always complain about. They all jumped out except for Kevin Owens, who smartly stayed in the ring and pushed them out. But why do you have everybody go out there and try and get a ladder? Do you really think you can win the match in 8 seconds?
Yeah, let's keep our count up here. So far, we're at 2 people that went to AEW after this match.
Yeah.
Yeah, next we had Chris Jericho taking on AJ Styles, which make that 3.
Yeah, this match, this should have been a wrestling fan's dream. It wasn't. This match was very, very long. The crowd liked this match, but the crowd liked this match from the standpoint of this is the time the crowd used to chant, AJ Styles, Jericho, AJ Styles, Jericho. So they cared more about entertaining themselves than they did watching this match. This was the first Mania for AJ Styles. The match wasn't very well put together. It was very disorganized. I only went 2.5.
Yeah, I mean, I went 3 stars because of the name power, but the match was not as great as really 3 stars should bring it. But I can see definitely why you went 2.5. AJ Styles, Chris Jericho ended up winning that. Yeah, so right now we're up to 3. And let's move on here. We had the League of Nations, Alberto Del Rio, Rusev, and Sheamus, make that 4. Taking on the New Day in a 6-man tag, because you need 6-man tags.
Yeah, and you also had King Barrett. King Barrett was down there.
Yes.
So the thing I noticed when Big E did his little spiel, oh, whatever city, clap for your famous 2-time tag team champions. So I thought I would point that out. And this match was decent, but not thrilling. This really felt more like it would have been a main event on Raw than it should have been on here. Even with what happened afterwards, which after Sheamus gets the pin on Xavier and we get the Hall of Famers come down, HBK, Foley, and Stone Cold. This really still felt like, even with them coming out, it really felt like a Raw main event. But it was to give those 3 Hall of Famers some recognition on Mania and give them a payday.
Yeah.
I went 2.5. It was
Yeah, it was filler. It passed, the setting of the table here.
Yeah. Also, this is at the time everybody was chanting at Sheamus. They just finished chanting, "You look stupid," because he had all the stuff in his beard and he had a mohawk.
Yeah, he was doing his movie there, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, playing Rocksteady. That whole theme there, yeah. Like I said, this was not a great WrestleMania. There was definitely a lot better. But yeah, moving along, yeah. Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman taking on Dean Ambrose. 5.
Yeah.
No holds barred street fight, excuse me.
Yeah, the Department of Redundancy department was on full alert because a street fight is already no holds barred, so why'd you have to call it a no holds barred street fight? But the match was good. This was one of the better matches for me. I went 3 stars. This was a really well-told story of Suplex City had just been invented. It hadn't been around very long, and Dean Ambrose put over the story of I'm tough and I'm crazy, which means you can't hurt me. And they did a really good job with that. It wasn't done too fast. They didn't use too many weapons. They really told a decent story with their face and their body and really put this over. Paul Heyman did a great job on this. It was 3 stars for me.
Yeah, I mean, I can go with that. 3 stars. I like the resiliency that Dean Ambrose was trying to portray here. It was a great just beatdown. You don't get a lot of great beatdowns. This was a great beatdown by Brock Lesnar.
This was a beatdown without being a squash, similar to what he did with John Cena. It was a great beatdown. And I know you didn't write it down, so it's time for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, go ahead.
This was kind of an oddball Hall of Fame, I will say. I mean, all these guys definitely deserve it, but it was kind of an oddball Hall of Fame class. They inducted the Freebirds. They only brought out Michael Hayes and they brought out Jimmy Jam Garvin, but they also had Terry Gordy's son, who wrestled in the WWE for a while as Jesse, with Jesse and Festus, and Buddy Jack Roberts' son. So they brought the Freebirds, at least their name, out there. The Godfather, the family of the Big Boss Man was out there. Boss Man got inducted. Miss Jacqueline was out there. Stan Hansen. Sorry, I can't read my own handwriting here. Joan London got the Warrior Award.
Yeah.
And Sting was in the main event. I wish I could read my own handwriting.
It's all right.
It must not have been that important, but they all deserve it.
Yes. This was a worthy class. It was one of the better ones that was out there. I mean, one of the higher points on the show to make you want to tune in for.
Yeah, it was decent. This, like I said, this was Joan London. This was the second Warrior Award after the passing of the Warrior, and she was famous. She did Good Morning America, and she developed breast cancer. So she's gone on and raised millions of dollars just in general for cancer research, not just breast cancer. So she deserved it. So yes, they all deserved it.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on. We had the triple threat match here for the inaugural Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair with Ric Flair in the corner. Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. You might as well say 6 because she's in New Japan and trying to go to AEW again. She wanted to get out of her contract after this. She's been wanting to get out of her contract, so I'm going to go 6.
Well, and AEW didn't want her because they know of the problem she is. We call her Botcharella on this show, and that was on full display here.
Yes.
Yeah, this was for the inaugural, and I love how this is actually true. They kept putting over that this is the first ever WWE Women's Championship belt. That technically is true because the WWF doesn't exist anymore. So all the stuff Moolah did was the WWF Women's title. This was the WWE Women's title, and they retired the Divas title, and thank God for that. This match was the Charlotte Flair Becky Lynch show. They just happened to have Sasha Banks in the match.
Yes.
That's really all she was good for. First of all, she missed the sunset flip spot, so they called it the Sunset Miss. I love they called it the Sunset Miss.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And then she tried to do a through the rope dive, a suicide dive, and just about spiked herself on the floor. Charlotte saved her life. I only went 2 stars. Sasha Banks continued her Eddie-sploitation that she does all the time because she's not a real person. She has to be everybody else but herself, and herself sucks.
And don't forget, Snoop Dogg came out there to make sure she was introduced.
Yeah. Oh, that's who the other name was. Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg.
Now, Snoop Dogg, I wish he would have looked a little more professional standing out there in the Hall of Fame. He was there in his smoking jacket with his Crip colors on. Everybody else put on a suit and a tie and a jacket. I mean, I understand it's Snoop Dogg, but come on, man. Have a little respect for something in your life.
There we go. Sorry. 7. Yeah, Snoop Dogg did have a match in AEW shortly after this. Damn. Countdown continues. Yeah.
So, this was an overbooked mess. This really was. This was a straight 100% spot fest. They wrote down every single move, rehearsed it for weeks, and Sasha Banks still couldn't do it right.
Yeah.
2 stars.
Yeah, I'm about with you on there. I'll go 2.5. Just because, Becky and Charlotte did try their best out there.
They did the best they could, yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. I want to kind of compare this to 1995. Very similar stories here because you've seen a lot of people parting ways and you've seen a lot of bad talent at this time. It's just...
Yeah. And it's amazing. A lot of people call AEW the 21st century WCW, so... Why not?
It all fits. Yeah, moving along, we had The Undertaker taking on Shane McMahon in a Hell in a Cell.
I hate to do this. I really, really, really do.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
I'm sorry. I like Shane McMahon when he works in the ring. I like Undertaker when he works in the ring. These 2 people made mud. This was 28 and a half minutes long, and it was so slow and so boring and so underwhelming.
Dive!
Yeah. It was really obvious that they were setting up for Shane McMahon to jump off something.
That was the whole purpose of this match, really.
Yeah.
Shane wanted to jump off something that made
Shane wanted to jump off something. Now, I marked out, kayfabe word of the day, mark out, is when somebody is either involved in the wrestling business, doesn't know something's coming, and sees it and reacts to it in real, or when the crowd who think they know what's going on, something happens that they weren't expecting. Kayfabe word of the day, mark out. I marked out because this is when Shane McMahon came back after 7.5 years of being gone from the WWE. I don't read the dirt sheet, so I didn't know he was coming back. So when he actually made his return, I was happy for it until I saw this match.
Yeah.
I went 1.5 stars.
He's rough. See, I went 2.5. It was okay. It wasn't one of Taker's best matches, and we all know he was pretty close towards retirement here anyways. You know, he only wrestled once a year like Santa Claus for about a decade.
Yeah, I almost thought until Shane McMahon opened his mouth and got fired from WWE that he was going to be the new Undertaker. Show up once a year, jump off the Titantron, get paid, move on.
Pretty much. Moving along to my 2-finger salute, because this might have been the dumbest match in history, in my opinion. The Rock takes...
No. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal happened before this.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get into my 2-finger now.
Go ahead.
Screw this. Because, yeah, this match was 6 seconds. This is why I'm getting this out of the way. Because this damn thing sucked. This was one of the worst things. You got to have Eric Rowan job out in 6 seconds. Can't push over talent. Got to have The Rock have a spot here. You didn't have enough of those, did you, Rock? No, you needed to be here and beat somebody in 6 seconds. You couldn't let King Kong Bundy hold the record. You know, you couldn't let Sheamus over there, who later on got the record by beating Daniel Bryan in a short match. No, you had to do it here. There you go, star. 2-finger salute.
All right, so yeah, I was hoping he was going to ignore this one. I was fine with The Rock coming out. Yes, it was really long. It was a long, drawn-out thing, but I was okay with it for the star power because they brought out Stone Cold. They brought out Mick Foley. They brought out HBK and let them do some stuff. So let The Rock come out, use his star power, motivate the crowd, hype him up, because the main event, which is actually happens after this, needed all the help it could get.
Yeah.
So I understand that, and I even was fine with Bray Wyatt coming out there. But the match should have happened the next night on Raw, when it's one of those, they should have done you did this, you put over the crowd, but you didn't get your match, Rock, so you're going to get your match, and Rock could have had his fight the next day. But no, he had to have it on here. It made no sense. It didn't do anything for Eric Rowan. It did nothing for Braun Strowman. It didn't even do anything for Bray Wyatt. It really didn't even help The Rock.
Yeah, it didn't help WrestleMania.
It didn't help WrestleMania. It was 18 and a half minutes of looking at the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders and listening to The Rock hash up old lines. Let's go on to the Battle Royal, please.
Go ahead.
So, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. This is the third iteration. Cesaro won the first one. Big Show won the second one. And the third one we're getting into now.
Go right ahead.
And because this was kind of underwhelming, I mean, it was fun, but it really was just, I understand why now. I wish they'd have left it on, but I also understand why it now appears on SmackDown the weekend before, or the show right before WrestleMania. They don't put it on WrestleMania weekend, because it's really meh. So here's the order of elimination. First one out, Fandango. Then we have Damian Sandow. Then Shaquille O'Neal and the Big Show eliminated themselves basically together. Then Victor from Ascension, Diamond Dallas Page, Connor from Ascension, Tatanka, Buffalo, Jack Swagger, R-Truth, Goldust, Curtis Axel, or the Axeman, Adam Rose, Heath Slater. Now, I had forgotten about their Outcasts. That was I liked that one with their fourth partner, Bo Dallas. I actually liked that. But anyway, Heath Slater, then Tyler Breeze, Mark Henry, Bo Dallas, the very sloppy and very untalented Darren Young, and Kane, last eliminated by your winner, Corbin.
See, I like Baron Corbin as a character, but yeah, this Battle Royal was pretty much trash.
Yeah, at least he still had hair at this time. But this led us to the next day to one of the worst graduating classes from NXT to make it to the WWE roster. Baron Corbin, Apollo Crews, Bozo Yaborbi, and Big Ass.
There you go. Yeah.
Now let's move on to the
main event. You can tell he felt this. He loved this match because this was Triple H taking on Roman Reigns. Of course, Stephanie McMahon in the corner. This match was so beyond predictable because they've been trying to throw Roman Reigns down your throats at this time, probably for about at least a year, maybe two.
Yeah, this is...
Did it continue?
Well, I'm about to go into that, but They tried every single trick they could in this match and the build-up to this match to make people care about Roman Reigns. They did not. The fans turned on Roman Reigns mightily. Triple H is the heel. He lands a Superman punch and they boo him. They wanted nothing to do with Roman Reigns. He even outshone John Cena on the ability to get heat while being a babyface. So we get the long, drawn-out, theatrical storyline opening with Stephanie McMahon reading her poetry from 8th grade. Then we get a bunch of people in rubber skeleton masks carrying title belts with Triple H walking down to the ring.
You can see I'm so enthused, right?
Nothing in this match worked. And I'm going to say this is actually Triple H has come out and said the reason he put himself in this position was because he was really good at making people hate him, so by proxy making baby faces out of stars. But he realized after this match, he didn't have it anymore. He actually stopped wrestling and broke up a continued storyline of the Authority because of this match. He was unable to perform. Roman Reigns was not properly trained in how to use his emotion, his face, and his character. That's why they put him with Paul Heyman. They still wanted Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
It took Paul Heyman to actually teach him how to work.
Yes.
And that was all because of this. And one more thing, I went back and looked. I used to read the Bleacher Report afterwards, and read the grades. This show got all A's or B pluses for all the matches except this main event. It got a C minus. and Bleacher Report said this was a great show, and this show hasn't stood the test of time. It's now seen as one of the worst. And if fawning fans who are story writers give this match a C minus the day after it happened, that just tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, he pretty much said it all. This is definitely, did not live well. But that's the end of our show. I also want to come on here and say thank you for watching our show, because this show actually marks year 6 of the Dr. Quack podcast. We got to start this long ago. We had a lot of good shows, bad shows, and in-between shows. And I just want to thank you, sir, for being a part of this.
Thank you.
But we're going to move on now, because now we're getting ready to start the beginning of year 7.
Let's start off on a high note.
And we're going to start out with something that really is near and dear to my heart. We're going to start out with this.
Wow. Let's see how well this is aged, but I remember it being good.
I do remember. But on that note, I'm Dr. Quack.
And I'm the important one, Mr. Mayhem. Thanks for staying with us on this journey all these years. And we're going to continue to entertain as long as you want to have us.
And we'll see you at year 7.